The jungle is loud. If you stand in the middle of a chimp troop, you'll hear screaming, you'll hear snake, you'll hear fight. But there is one thing you will never, ever hear a chimpanzee say. They can't say, "Hey, remember that snake from yesterday? I wonder if it's still there." And they definitely can't ask, "Why are we here?" For 99% of history, biology was silent. Then, in a genetic blink, one species, us, started talking. We are looking at the single most dangerous mutation in the history of life. Today, we're going to find out why you are the only animal that can tell a story and why the language gene you've heard about is a lie. This is the language gene mutation. To understand this power, we have to go to a house in London in the 1990s. Scientists called them the KE family. On the surface, they looked like anyone else. But if you sat down to have tea with them, you'd realize that for half the family, across 3 generations, something was missing. They weren't mute, they were smart, but they physically couldn't speak. Imagine trying to play a piano concerto, but your fingers are wearing oven mitts. That's what speech was for them. Their brains couldn't coordinate the millisecond perfect dance of the lips, tongue, and jaw required to form words. It wasn't a lack of intelligence, it was a lack of rhythm. And because it ran in the family, geneticists knew this wasn't bad luck, this was a gene. In 2001, they found the culprit, a tiny typo on chromosome 7 called FOPX2. The media went absolutely feral. They called it the grammar gene, the God gene. The headlines promised that this one gene was the software update that downloaded the dictionary into our brains. It was a perfect story, simple, elegant, flattering. But that story was wrong. Before we get into the messy reality, which involves bird songs and Neanderthals, I have a question. If you could instantly download a language to your brain, Matrix style, would you pick something useful like Mandarin or something impossible like whale? Let me know in the comments. I'm serious. I want to know who's picking whale. To figure out what FOPX2 actually does, we had to leave the humans and look at the rock stars of the animal kingdom, songbirds. Meet the zebra finch. These guys don't just tweet, they practice. If a baby finch doesn't learn his dad's song perfectly, he doesn't get a mate. High stakes. And when they practice, FOPX2 levels in their brains go off the charts. Here's the science. FOPX2 isn't the sheet music, it's the conductor. It's a transcription factor. Its job is to turn other genes on and off. In the KE family, the mutation broke the conductor's baton. The sheet music, the grammar, the ideas was all there, but the conductor was drunk. The muscles didn't know when to come in. This conductor lives in the basal ganglia, your brain's rhythm section. It's the part that helps you ride a bike or type without looking. It takes a thought, I want to say hello, and turns it into a motor sequence. Lip up, tongue forward, jaw down. It has to happen in milliseconds. Without FOPX2, that rhythm collapses. But here's the kicker. Mice have FOPX2. Crocodiles have it. It's an ancient gene, hundreds of millions of years old. So if a mouse has the gene, why isn't it reciting Shakespeare? Well, for a long time, we thought we had the answer. We thought our version was special. The theory was that about 200,000 years ago, our version of the gene mutated. Just 2 tiny amino acid changes. The theory said this was a selective sweep, a magic bullet that gave us speech and allowed us to conquer the world. It was a great theory, until we found the bodies. In 2008, we finally sequenced the Neanderthal genome. Everyone held their breath. Did they have the human FOPX2 or the chimp version? If they had the chimp version, we won because we could talk. But when the results came back, it was a match. Neanderthals had the exact same gene.
Those human mutations happened way earlier, before we split. This changed everything. It meant the hardware for speech was already there in our ancestors. Neanderthals probably could speak. They had the highway. So why did we build spaceships while they stayed in the caves? If it wasn't FOPX2, what was it? Entered the new contender, Nova 1. This time, the human version is unique. Neanderthals didn't have it, Denisovans didn't have it, just us. So researchers did something that sounds like the start of a sci-fi horror movie. They used CRISPR to put the human Nova 1 gene into mouse DNA. The result? The mouse brains changed shape. They got bumpier, more complex. The wiring got denser. This gene regulates how our brains develop in the womb. Neanderthals had the voice, but we got the wiring to say something complicated.
But genes are just potential. Having a Ferrari in the driveway doesn't mean you know how to drive. For decades, linguists fought a war. Is language an instinct we're born with, or is it a culture we have to learn? To know for sure, you'd have to put a bunch of kids on an island alone and see if they invent a language. We can't do that. It's unethical. But in 1977, history did it for us. In Nicaragua, hundreds of deaf children were brought together for the first time. They had no shared language. The teachers tried to teach them to lip-read Spanish. It failed. But on the playground, something magical happened. The older kids started combining their home signs. They created a pigeon. It was rough, simple. Me, eat, food. It worked for basic survival, but you couldn't tell a story with it. But then, the younger kids arrived, the 4-year-olds. These little kids watched the older kids signing chaos, and their brains didn't just copy it, their brains fixed it. They spontaneously added grammar. They used space. Signing cup to the left meant something different than cup to the right. They created rules that nobody taught them. They invented Nicaraguan Sign Language in a single generation. This is the smoking gun. It proves that grammar isn't something we learn, it's something we impose on the world. We are a species allergic to silence. Our biological code demands structure. Compare that to poor Nim Chimpsky. Scientists tried to teach him sign language in the 70s. He learned 125 signs, but he never asked a question. His longest sentence was, "Give orange me, give eat orange me, eat orange me." It's a demand, it's a loop, it's not language. The Nicaraguan kids created a world to share with each other. Nim just wanted a snack. That is the difference. The language mutation didn't just give us words, it gave us the desire to share our minds. And now we are on the verge of another explosion. We have built machines, large language models that can speak. They can write poetry and code. But do they have the language gene? No, they work on probability. They predict the next word. They don't have a body. They don't have the drive to connect. This brings us to the ultimate question. If we ever meet aliens like Rocky and Project Hail Mary, will we be able to talk to them? If language is biological, shaped by our weird mouth muscles and brain wiring, an alien might have a language we physically cannot learn. Maybe their language is chemical or pure math. We might not have to go to space to find out. Right now, Project CT is using AI to decode sperm whales. They use codas, click patterns that look like dialects. They even have names for each other. If we can crack the code of a species that has lived in the ocean for 50 million years, maybe we're ready for the stars. Language feels like magic, but it's not. It's machinery. It's a series of happy accidents. A broken gene in London, a bumpy brain in a mouse, a schoolyard in Nicaragua. These accidents allowed a primate to dream. We are the only species that can speak into the darkness and expect an answer. And that is a mutation worth keeping. Thanks for watching. Keep looking for the unifying lens.